Oh, hi. I'm Jen, and welcome to my vlog space. And today I have with me...
I'm Sean. Hello.
And we're going to be doing questions dancers hate getting asked. Special edition tap dancers. So there's a lot of the questions are just for dancers of any kind, and then there's some specific questions that I feel like tap dancers just hate being asked. And I'm going to answer them, or at least say how I feel about them. So...
Make sure if you have answers to these, leave a comment below.
And if you think of questions that are not on this list that we're reading from, or like if you think of extra things, let me know in the comments. Ask me those terrible questions and I will answer them there.
Because we've all been asked just questions. You're just like,
My favorite one that I've been asked that's not on this list is, can you do that any quieter? Talking about tap dance. And like, on some level, because dynamics and shading are things, yes, I can. But if you're asking if my company of 11 people can tap dance any quieter than we already are, no. No, we can't. It makes noise.
oh yeah.
This is like when we go to cons and they put us next to the library. Like, our name is Noise Complaint. Like, obviously, we're gonna be noisy.
Yeah, it's like tap dance theater. It's like, oh, they'll put us next to the viewing room where people
The
are
anime
watching.
viewing room where they're watching a DVD.
Yeah, it's
I
like, they're like, you guys are loud. Can you turn it down?
No.
Hold on.
No, we can't.
Where's the knob on the feet? I gotta turn down. Like,
No, dynamics and shading are
Yeah.
a thing, but like, no, you can't just turn down our show at all. Anyway, so let's get into it. I'm pretty excited about these. I have not read most of them, so I'm not sure what to expect, but he says that they're good.
you ready?
Oh, God.
Non-dance friend. You're a dancer, so like, are you flexible?
Oh, this question. I'm sure y'all have gotten this question. It doesn't matter what kind of dance you do. Somebody usually asks. So does that mean like you're flexible? And I'm like, with my time, yes. I've never been a very flexible person. I've always relied on power rather than flexibility to get my like leaps into the air and stuff. Or my Batma's super high. I use the floor instead of my flexibility because I just don't have great flexibility. My answer to that though, when people ask, is that's a gross question. Please don't ask that, because on some levels it's kind of a gross question to ask. Like, that's kind of a personal question. First of all, I don't want to get into the fact that I've been a dancer for a long time, 36 years.
Oh.
I've been a dancer and I'm still not very flexible. First of all, that's a sore subject. I don't want to get into that. Second of all, it is just kind of a gross question, especially depending on who asks it. So,
And then you also have to, some people's bodies just physically can't do certain things.
That is absolutely true.
Like, I know, like, one of my friends, she's been dancing and a gymnast since she was little. Still to this day, she's been doing it for 20 plus years, cannot do the splits.
Yeah, just her body just doesn't function
And
that
her
way.
doctor
And that's
said it's just the
fine.
way that her hips are that she just physically can't.
Yeah. So that's a sore subject for some people, and also just, ew, don't ask that.
I am not flexible. I am a dancer and I am not flexible.
You're a tap and a hip hop dancer, so your wrists are very flexible.
Yeah, like I can do isolations, but I can't do the splits. All right, next one.
Yeah.
Non-dance friend. Have you ever watched So You Think You Can Dance?
Okay, I hate this question. To be honest, I hate this question, and it's because it's such a sore subject for me, because I get so upset that, like, they rarely take tap dancers, first of all, and second of all, when they do, the tap dancer, they're like, oh, well, she's a tap specialist, or he's a tap dancer, but they still have to do all the other styles. They still have to do the foxtrot, they still have to do ballet, they still have to do hip-hop, they still have to do all the other stuff. But none of the people that don't tap have to do tap. That bothers me on a fundamental level. Like, if the tap dancer has to do, like, the ballroom stuff, the ballroom dancer should have to do tap. Because if we have to struggle on something that we've never done before that is deeply rooted in technique and difficult to pick up on the fly, they should too. So that right there, actually, once I realized that they do that, I stopped watching that show, and I won't watch it anymore. But I do get that question a lot, like, oh, you're a dancer. Have you seen either World of Dance or So You Think You Can Dance? Or did you see this one person on America's Got Talent? Mm-hmm. No, I actually don't watch those shows for like a million reasons, but it is a good conversation starter. I'm not saying that it's a bad question. Mm-hmm. I just have a sore spot with it, but it's not a bad question. It's actually, I think those shows are great to get people that aren't dancers noticing dance and talking about dance and excited about dance. So if you watch those shows, have those conversations with people. I usually just do the polite thing and go, oh, I haven't watched it in a while. I've been really busy, and leave it at that and not get into like the rant that I want to go on every time somebody mentions that show.
Where's the tap dance?
Well, no, there's tap dance, but I'm upset that it's not fair. They make the tap dancers do contemporary, but they don't make the contemporary dancers do tap. And I feel like if you're going to have it go one way, it should go the other. And I know that the reason for it is because the contemporary dancers that don't do tap can't do it successfully with just a week to learn it. So why do they think, sorry, I must be hungry. So why do they think the tap dancer can do like ballroom and contemporary if they've never done it before? You know, like it just bugs me on a fundamental level. So anyway, that's my rant. But I think that those are not bad questions. It's a great conversation starter with people that maybe didn't know about dance before that show happened. I actually think it's great.
Non-dance friend, is dancing even a sport?
You just want me to go off on rants today.
Yes, that's my goal. I'm just going to skip through the rant questions. No.
Okay. I have a video on this somewhere on this channel already. Is tap dancing a sport? Is dancing a sport? On a fundamental level, I don't believe dance is a sport. And don't come at me because I do believe it's an athletic art form. I believe it is as athletic as any sport. And I believe that it is as difficult as any sport. And it is equivalent to a sport. I'm not trying to downplay its athleticism. It absolutely is athletic. I don't like to think of it as a sport because I like to think of it as an art form. And with sports, the idea is to compete with each other. My way of viewing the arts is that I want to share with each other. I want to collaborate with each other. Like, is music a sport? No. Is some music playing athletic? Yes, playing the drum set is absolutely athletic, okay? But do I think drummers should be competing against each other? No. I think they should be collaborating. They should be sharing. They should be creating together. And that's how I feel about dancers. I feel like dancers should be not pitted against each other. Is that grammatically correct? I don't know. But also, if you hear snoring, Bento is sleeping and snoring very, very loudly right behind the camera. So
good job, guy.
Good job, Bento. We love you. But yeah, is it a sport? I don't like to think of it as a sport, but I'm not taking away from its athleticism by saying that. It is absolutely athletic. But what was the question?
Is
dancing even a sport? When you add that even, they're coming at you. They're saying something negative about it, but in the form of a question. Is dancing even a sport? And I answer with, well, it's an athletic art form that requires an incredible amount of stamina and training. So in that respect, I would consider it a sport, yes. And that's how I would shut down the question. Because that's coming at it from a not nice place when you add the word, is it even a sport?
Because you've automatically downgraded it in your mind.
Is graffiti even art? That's a whole question.
I
know you'll get the answer to that. He's a graffiti artist, and you'll get the answer to that on our other channel.
No,
is graffiti an art? Is a nice question.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is with me, in my opinion, on the is dancing even a sport? It's an athletic art form, like you said. It is not a sport.
But it could be to some people. I just don't like to consider it a sport. Don't make them come at me.
No, in my opinion is that when you make something a sport, then you're going to set guidelines. You have to have this many paradiddles, or this many arabesques, or this many this.
Yeah,
for a grading system.
That's a whole other vlog that we can do. That's a whole other vlog.
They're going to be like, we're coming for Sean.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's my answer to that question, and also how I feel about that question. You don't have to add the word even and make it an insult, okay?
All right. Next question. Non-dance friend. Wait. don't dancers have to be thin?
These questions are so rude. Okay. The That question sucks. I'm just going to be like flat out. That question sucks. First of all, it is outdated. It is completely wrong. Dancers can be any shape, size, ethnicity, height, anything. I know professional dancers that look completely different from what people thought dancers should look like. And they are fully working professional dancers that are highly respected in their field. It does not matter. As long as you can learn choreography, retain the memory of the choreography, you can dance beautifully, you train well, there is a place for everyone in the dance world. Like, my companies have dancers of all shapes, sizes, ethnicities, heights, everything. So that is a terrible question, and I wouldn't even answer that if somebody asked me. I would just be like, please reframe your question and ask again. I would be very offended by that question.
That's a horrible question to ask, because in my opinion, the way that question is asked, you're asking somebody who clearly isn't in their vision of what a dancer should be, so that's disrespectful to that person individually.
Yeah, because it's, wait, don't dancers have to be thin? Like, that's either you're insulting the person you're asking that question, or you saw someone and you're insulting the person that you saw, whether it's on social media or whatever. That is the worst question anybody could ever ask. So if anyone asks that question around you, please shut it down in the nicest way possible, but please shut it down.
No, absolutely.
Kill it with kindness. I am offended. I don't get offended easily. I am very offended that question was on this list.
But yeah, I just
it needed to be addressed.
Yeah,
but
I couldn't imagine asking somebody that. Like,
whether it's about you or somebody else, like, I could not imagine.
I grew up
asking that
in the dance world that I grew up in. Like, I later on in life, I grew up in dance, and
in the hip hop world.
Yeah, in the hip hop world, and the like tap dance. I didn't start tap dancing till 7 years ago.
Yeah, I think you were like 33.
Yeah, and so like everybody was different shapes and sizes. But growing up, I had friends that danced, and every one of them was different shapes and sizes. So it's like, I can't even believe that that's a thing.
But it was a thing for traditional dance, like ballet, jazz, like trying to get into musical theater, trying to do cruise ships. It was a thing. It was absolutely a thing. And nowadays, thank goodness, it's not that much of a thing anymore. It may be in certain places, but in the professional world, there's way less of that I've noticed in the professional world, which is just wonderful. So I'm angry now. Next question.
All right. Super, super deep and hard question. Are you ready?
Okay.
Non-dance friend. Can you teach me how to dance?
Oh. Okay. I know some people get annoyed by that question when their non-dance friend is like, can you teach me how to dance? Because essentially they're asking you to work for free. But if you know about this channel, you know I enjoy working for free. So...
Surprise!
Surprise! No, I love it when people ask me if I can teach them how to dance. I want the whole world to tap dance. Like, that's just like my goal in life. So I'll tell people, yeah, I have tutorials online you can learn from me, because I'm a very, very busy person. So when somebody says, can you teach me how to dance? Usually I go, I have tutorials you can learn from, or you can drop into one of my classes. Can I make extra time for that? Not usually, but only because I'm just so busy. But I love the idea of teaching my friends to dance. Like, oh, can you teach me how to dance? I'll be like, yeah. What kind you want to learn? I teach this, and this during the week. I have tutorials on contemporary and tap. I got you, girl. You know, like, I will absolutely say yes to that with a big smile, because I just want everyone to learn how to dance. I think that's just so cool. I know some people are very annoyed by that question, and you're well within your right to be, especially if it's coming from I just want free stuff kind of place, but... You know, obviously, I'm cool with that.
7 years ago, I said, "Hey,
he asked me, can you teach me to tap dance?" That's right.
I read that. I was like,
That's right. But now he's a lead tap dancer in my company, not just because I married him. Actually,
I was the lead before we got married.
That is true.
I earned that.
You did earn it through weird circumstances. Like, somebody quit and he had to step up, and he did. And sometimes that's how you get the role, though. Sometimes you just sit there and you're all quiet and you're just waiting for your turn. And then something happens and your turn comes real quick.
Yeah.
And you just got to step up. So you never know when that moment's coming. That's a whole other vlog. Anyway, let's keep going.
All right. Non-dance friend. Have you worked with Abby Lee Miller?
Because they watch Dance Moms. Oh my gosh. Okay. Some people actually have, because she does teach at conventions and workshops now. A friend of mine from TikTok, Nicole, she got to teach with her at a convention. Isn't that cool? I never have. I know that TV edits things to make people out to be the worst type of people, so I would never judge her based on like what I've seen on the TV show. I've never met her in real life, so if anybody would be like, how could you work with someone like that, because they make her look so terrible.
Because drama sells.
Yeah, drama does sell. I actually know people that have been on Say Yes to the Dress, and they said that appointment went nothing like that. That's all editing. My mom never said that. That was a part of a sentence. Or my brother never said that. Or the person that I brought was not the way that they portrayed them. It was all editing. And that's exactly what happened with Abby Lee Miller. And so I refuse to judge her. For anyone that's like, well, why would you want to work with her? She's so mean. You don't know that, you know? But also, I've never worked with her, and that is a very odd question to ask just a random person. But at the same time, there are people that I know that have worked with her because she does conventions. That was a weird answer to that. I'm sorry. It's not an annoying question.
I feel like the what is it? Abby Lee Miller is her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's her character on TV.
Yeah, it's a character she's playing. It's a hyperbole of herself. It's a caricature of herself is what you see.
There's a word to Google today. Hyperbole.
Wow.
All right, non-dance friends. How many spins can you do? Half.
How many spins can you do? I was never a turner, ever. So the most I've ever done.
It says you. You mean turns?
Oh, and I just changed it to turns. No, I've never been a good turner. And I'm actually teaching a leaps and turns class today at my studio because I know the mechanics of turning. I can teach people to turn really, really well. I have an issue turning because of my left foot. I could do a whole video on how to dance with a bum foot because I can't point my left foot. Like, just like it broke, it's set wrong. I can't get all the way up on releve. So I have a really, really hard time turning. I also have a very sensitive neck, so spotting actually hurts my neck. But that's beside the point. It's not a bad question. That's the kind of question that people ask because you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, and the thing people are most like notable for is how many turns they can do. Or like they watch a video on TikTok and somebody does like 17 turns and they're like, that seems really impressive. And so that's the question that they have in their head to ask people. Oh, you're a dancer, so you can do like lots of spins, right? And you're like, I mean, yeah, I bet I could do probably 50 or 60 maxi Ford turns in a row. Yes, I can do lots of spins. Oh, that's not what you meant? Okay. Or I can do a bunch of I can do a bunch of rhythm turns in a row. I could probably do like 20, you know? Oh, that's not what you meant? You meant pirouettes. Okay. But yeah, I'm not a good turner, so my answer to that is always fairly embarrassing. Like, the most I've ever done in my life is 4, and that was one time. One time. But I know how to teach people how to turn. I know the mechanics of it. I know how to get people to do 5 or 6 turns. I just can't physically do it myself.
I'm the same way. Like when I teach, I can look at you and I can see when your shoulder drops. I can see what changes in your body. Like, I can see the physics of it. Can I physically do it? I can do a turn.
You probably could if you tried. You just never have.
I can do a turn.
Barely.
Uno.
Barely.
Hey, I make it around.
You go the wrong way, usually.
That's true. She's like, ball, change and turn. Everybody's turning one way, and I'm like, where are we going?
It's so funny.
All right. Non-dance friend. Contemporary? That's like interpretive dance, right?
Okay. Sometimes you're not wrong. Sometimes it is interpretive dance, but not in the... What's the word I'm looking for? Not in like the sarcastic way that people say interpretive dance, you know? Like, does contemporary interpret a story or an emotion sometimes? Yes. So is it interpretive dance? Yes. They're going to get a long answer from me if they ask this question. But contemporary is based in a bunch of different technique forms, like ballet, jazz, modern, it's acrobatics even. It is based on so many different techniques. Is it interpretive dance, it depends. Are you asking because you heard it on Saturday Night Live in that way? No, it's not interpretive dance in that form. But does it interpret a story? Does it interpret a phrase? It can. Absolutely it can. So I guess my answer to the question depends on who's asking it and in what context they're asking it. So it's not a bad question. It's just kind of a meme question.
And then,
I mean, we sort of already answered that, so don't worry about that one.
All right. Non-dance friends, can't you skip dance class just this one time?
Can you just skip work this one time? Can you skip school like this one time? That's what I always used to say, because people were like, do you have to go to dance? I'm like, do you have to go to work? Like, it's a job. This is a job. And whether you're just training because you want to be a professional one day and you're still a studio student, or you actually have like a class or a rehearsal that you have to go to because that is your job. No, I can't skip it. It's my job.
And how many of you guys have been in a class where like they're going through and learning choreography that keeps adding each week?
Every single studio student.
And then all of a sudden you go back that next week and they're like, all right, we're going to go over what we went over last week. And you're like...
You're lost.
And they're like, well, you need to keep up. And you're like, well, I'm behind.
I missed, so you don't want to miss. Also, you're training. You're trying to stay up on your game. Like, no, I can't skip class just this one time because you want me to. Can you skip work? No. I know some people can, but...
Sorry, that was my stomach.
I guess we're starving. All right, so that was the end of this list, but he has a couple of extra questions for me that he says are going to make me a little upset. And I'm a little scared. I'm trying not to look at the list and cheat, because he keeps putting these things right in iShot, so...
So, Jen.
Yeah.
You're a tap dancer, right?
Yeah.
Do you do real dancing too? Tell me you haven't heard that question.
I have heard that question so many times. Okay, I need a little raised hand in the chat, or not in the chat, in the comments. If you've ever gotten that question and it has made you crazy. Somebody looks at a tap dancer and goes, oh, you tap dance, so do you do real dance too? I don't even know how to say it nicely anymore. Like, I used to be able to find a way to sugarcoat the tap dancing is real dance, but thanks for asking. I used to find a way to, like, nicely say that. I don't even know how to do that nicely anymore. Like, what about tap dance isn't real dance? It has the word dance in it. Tap dance. It's a dance form. It's a dance art. It's... What? And they mean the types of dance that are kind of similar to each other, that they grouped all together, that they see on So You Think You Can Dance, but they only see the tap dancers do the tap, so everybody else is doing the real dance and the tap dance. That's why I'm mad at that. That's part of the reason I'm mad at that, because they put it into its own category, so people don't think it's the same. They don't think it's the same caliber. They don't think it's real dancing because it doesn't have kicks and leaps and turns and things that look hard. But the reason that people on So You Think You Can Dance that don't do tap is because it's too hard to learn in 1 week. They'll just be doing like shuffle ball change and that's it. And it's not impressive looking. Hi, Bento. He's upset by this question.
And they're like, when they're like, oh yeah, do you do real dancing? Yes, I have gotten good at the that's no.
Is this your real dancing?
Yeah, it's like
finger puppet dancing.
It's the equivalent of level of intelligence in that question.
No,
right?
that makes me really, really mad. Do you do real dancing? That makes me upset, because you could ask that in a way that doesn't imply that tap dance is not of the same caliber as other dancing. You could say, oh, do you do any of the other styles of dance? Even if they don't know what it is, just like, do you do any other styles of dance? I was asked this question, actually it wasn't even a question, a group of ballet dancers made this comment to my company at a professional show full of dance companies, professional dance companies and student dance companies. This was a student ballet company. Bunch of ballet dancers were talking and they said, what number are we after? And one of them goes, oh, we're after, there's like 2 more and then us, I think, we're after that one. And they're like, oh, the tap dance? They're like, no, the real dance. And just, we overheard that, and honestly, my company members got very upset. One of them was like really upset about it. And it's like, no, I mean the real dancing. It was like, ow? Okay, that's fine. But it's a common misconception, and it's a common misspeak, I would say, because I've heard that question a lot. But my best advice is to answer with as much kindness as you can and say, well, tap dancing is real dancing, but yes, I do other styles as well. In addition to tap dance, I also do contemporary dance, ballet dance, and I try to just add the word dance to all of it so that they understand it's just different styles and not say, I do tap dance, but I also do contemporary, ballet, jazz. Because that makes it seem like they don't need the qualifier of dance. So at that point I go, oh, I do jazz dance, I do hip hop dance, I do contemporary dance, I do modern dance. And they're like, oh, so it's like a style. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. So there's just different ways of answering that and not letting your anger show. But that offends me when people ask it like that, or when those ballet dancers did say that, when they were like, no, I mean the real dancing. And I was like, ouch, okay. Somebody needs to teach you guys about etiquette, but cool. I didn't say anything to them. They're young, you know. I didn't have the guts to say anything. Anyway, next question.
All right. So the next question is more of a statement.
Okay.
When people are like, I can tap dance too, and then proceed to just make stomping and weird noises loudly.
I know some people that get actually really offended by that. I don't mind it. I think it's cute. I don't think that they're making fun of me. I think that they really, for a second, think that it's easier than it really is. So they think that they can. I just don't get offended by that. I go, you know what? Actually, you got some really good sounds in there. If you want, I can teach you, and you can really learn to tap dance. And I turn it into a conversation instead of like a, okay, that wasn't tap dance, but whatever. You don't need to like get into an argument with somebody. I use it as a moment to say, hey, you know, that actually, you made a lot of good sounds, or you changed up your dynamics in that. I can teach you to hone that skill and really learn how to tap dance if you want. And it makes it a more positive experience.
You've got good footwork. We could work on that.
Yeah. Why don't you come to my adult class? You'll love it, you know, and turn it into that instead of, wow, that was offensive. And on some level, some people might be trying to make fun of you. I don't know. But they also can't get mad at you if you're then nice to them after that. You know? Kill them with kindness. It works every time. Bento, what are you doing?
Bento's trying to be super close.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when they do that to me, I'm just like, whoa. I'm like, that took me at least a month to figure out. That's crazy. And just joke with them. Because I'm not.
And if a child does it, don't be mean about it. They don't mean it in a negative way. They really are saying, look, I can tap dance too. I do what you do. It's usually only meant in a negative way by adults. Yeah. And only if they do mean it in a negative way. There are adults that do that don't mean it in a negative way. And again, I just say, oh, that's actually really good. Just come to my adult class. You'll have fun.
When little kids do it, I do the, oh, wow. You know, you got to go larger than life. Like, that was crazy cool.
Also, I think we just got hit by a golf ball on the fence.
Fun.
All right. Any more?
Looks like we got one more.
Okay.
All right. So, what's your real job?
You got to end with a doozy.
So
you
got
to end with that. So you're
what
a
is
dancer.
your real job?
Oh, I actually get asked that a lot. I get asked that a lot. So, okay, yeah, you're a dancer, right? So what's your real job? Okay, I say, are you asking about my day job, or are you asking about like if I just do dance for fun and it's not my actual job? Like, what's the question? I try to clarify so that they understand that what they asked was not quite the right question. It's a nice way of letting them know that they sort of misstepped when they asked it. So, what's your real job? I say, do you mean like my day job? And then they go, yeah, your day job. Oh, during the day I'm a teacher, and then at my afternoon and evening job and my weekend job is I'm a professional dancer and a dance teacher. That way they can see that you equivocate? What's the word? You think both of them are equal. They understand that. Hi, T'Challa. The other cat has decided to join the video. That's his tail.
They're like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. That way they understand that you consider both of them your real job, and you don't like think one of them is not real. A lot of times they're asking like, oh, what do you do to pay the bills? And it's because most of the time as a dancer, it's very difficult to pay your bills just as a dancer or performer. Anyone that can, I am in awe of you. I have a whole video on how to be a professional dancer, and it does talk about this kind of stuff, like having a day job or a side job or something. But when they ask it, so what's your real job? That word is kind of like the other question from earlier, how like, is dance even a sport? Like, you don't have to ask it that way. T'Challa.
T'Challa's just wandering through.
It's like behind me. All right. But yeah, you don't have to ask it that way. It doesn't have to be so negative. What's your real job? Like, dude, that's not nice. Dancing is my real job. I am really a dancer. I am also a teacher during the day. Are you also going to ask me about my other real jobs? I'm a musician. I'm an author. I'm a content creator. That's another one. People are like, oh, so you're like a YouTuber. What's your real job? I'm like, that kind of is a real job. Like, it really is. I know earlier I was joking about like, I don't mind working for free. YouTube pays a little bit. So it's not technically for free. It's a real job. I just don't ask. I just prefer to offer my services in a way that dancers don't have to pay for it. But YouTube can pay me.
We don't charge you.
We don't charge you. I charge YouTube. But like, that's a real job. And I know a lot of content creators that are like, people think this isn't a real job, but I work really hard. And oh my gosh, I hate editing videos. It is such hard work. And then keeping up with comments is difficult, as you guys know. I'm so sorry. But yeah, what's your real job? Like, you get asked that too when you say, like, people are like, oh, so you're an artist. So what's your real job? And you have to ask that, you mean my day job?
You're just like, well, I'm not offended, but
yeah,
thanks.
Are you asking about my day job?
Yeah.
Because this is a real job. But like my other job that I do to help pay the bills is I'm this. And so you kind of just, you have to answer it in a way that lets them know that it was a misstep of their question, but also you can answer it. Like, is dance my only job? No, I do have another job that I love equally as much. I do one during the day and one in the afternoons, evenings, and weekends.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's just the best way to answer it. It is an offensive question, though. That and is dance even a sport? Like, that's the same as if somebody goes, is dance even a real job? And I know theater people. I know people that are actors that are like, is acting even a real job? Or like, but what's your like real job? You're like a bartender, right? And it's like, no, I'm an actor and I bartend to pay the bills. That's what my friend says. She's a professional actor in Atlanta. Her real job is acting. She spends 90% of her time on acting, auditions, classes, workshops, getting headshots done, all that. Bartending is what she does to pay the bills while she works on her real job. So what is your real job? Dance. What is the job that pays the bills? Now that's a different question. So anyway, thanks for making me angry this morning with these questions. I appreciate it.
I'm glad I could help. That's my job.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it'd be a fun vlog to do. I'm looking at doing a couple of like super fun vlogs, like checking out some Am I the A-hole on Reddit dance teacher edition and stuff. So if you're interested in those, let me know in the comments below. Anything like this that you want, like let me know some ideas. We're happy to do some vlogs. I always like having my partner in rhythm over here.
And me.
So yeah, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Tap fam. We've got vlogs like this, but also tap tutorials and tap tutorials of all kinds, like step tutorials, technique exercises, choreography, and then vlogs and challenges and stuff. And then also please hit that thumbs up button because it tells YouTube that people like tap dance.
Also, make sure you leave a comment with answers to these questions. Make sure you write what the question was first, so that way we know what it's like in regards to. But then also, if you have any questions like these that you've got that you've been asked as a dancer,
any other questions that we missed, let us know, and let us know if it made you mad, because I'm interested. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and as always, thank you for dancing with me.